All right, so I want to talk about something extremely important, and it comes down to social media for any kind of business. I don't care if we're talking e commerce, if we're talking B2B, if we're talking single location, multi location franchise. I'm going through, so since we released out 5.0 of simplybefound.com, we have an entire social media suite, and I'm going through a lot of different profiles and looking at a lot of data points, and I'm seeing a lot of things that just don't make much sense to me for how people are doing stuff. They do a post out onto YouTube and they copy and paste that same information over to Facebook and then Twitter and LinkedIn, or they do that Facebook post and they do the same information to every network. So inside of our social media network, you can actually do a post for take one piece of content and optimize it for each of those networks. And the important piece about this is the person's intent or the type of demographic that you are going after is a different type of person on each of these networks. So if you do a video inside of YouTube and then you want to post it over here, you can't just copy and paste the link inside of your Facebook page. You got to upload that video to the Facebook page. And Facebook isn't the place for real, unless you're doing reels. You got to make sure you're doing it the correct way and going into Instagram. You can't just copy and paste everything, go boom, blank it out and send it out. You can, but you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. You have to make your content unique in some aspects. Now, we have the AI assistant inside of our social media suite, which makes it super simple for you to be able to change that content and say, hey, what would you change this for LinkedIn? What would you change for this to be on YouTube? What would you change for this to be on Instagram? What would you change for this to be over on TikTok? What would you do on Pinterest for this? You can actually do that. You can upload different graphics and assets to be able to build out what that campaign is going to be. And with our scheduling tools, you can schedule out. So to be able to do an entire year's worth of content for most of small businesses out there, this would not apply to e-commerce. Like I talked about in the video earlier this week I did, is you can basically plan out your entire social media campaign in a weekend and then just add on as you do things and talk about how you solve somebody's problem or what you did for them inside of that social media. But you have to make sure that you're going after the people who are on that network. And there's different demographics. So you might have somebody on Facebook at a different time of day and they're in a different mood than when they're on LinkedIn and they're scrolling through their LinkedIn page. It's a different part of the brain. It's a different part of what brings value to that person. And you're also competing against a different type of network. So you have to know the differences between any of these networks that are out there. Probably one of the best books I know of on inside of this is Trading. Trading Attention from Gary V. He does a very good job of talking about all the different networks, what each of the pieces have, and what needs to be inside of there. So when you're doing that, and I'll try to link inside of all the different platforms that we post this out to, I'll try to link out what that description would be and what that would end up being. But keep that in mind as you're posting out there. Don't just copy and paste, because what you're copy and pasting is going to be different between each of those networks versus just doing it as a per network basis, and it really doesn't take much more time to be able to just change that information. So keep that in mind as you're posting out and you're doing stuff, especially when you're using Simply Found's social media suite, which, by the way, kicks some major butt. If you haven't signed up for it yet, make sure you visit us simplybefound.com and check it out today.